Hope the question is clear. I can come again.
Yeah, no, it's clear. It's clear. I just thought your sound was jumping. Yeah, thank you so much. So I thought this was the easiest question of the three. Maybe it's more tricky, effectively. I mean, for me, let me first tell you what I think. So yes, you can have very good careers in a niche, but that's not so interesting. I mean, if somebody wants to go from junior developer to mid-senior developer to senior developer to tech lead to technical architect. I mean, we don't all know how it works, but I have a clear imagination how that works. These are clear tracks, and these clear tracks will probably still work in 10 years. So dissecting that is not so super interesting. So if you are a beginner, if you are an early career trailblazer or mid-career trailblazer, how do you achieve that you're not getting lost? I think that's more the question. That's more the interesting twist that I would give on it. So you start by understanding the platform. I would like to quote Jennifer: "Know your platform." So the core Salesforce platform, there's already enough products running on that: Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, the core platform. So there I'm coming for once, and you won't hear that often from me coming back to the technology. So you have to master the technology, and then you will eventually realize that Salesforce has way too many products so that you can not in the beginning understand them all. What do you do if you encounter a product that you do not yet know? Learn its purpose. If you see that somebody is a revenue cloud specialist, or that a consultancy specializes in revenue cloud or in CPQ or whatever, don't go to the next post forgetting the question you had. You had the question, hey, what is CPQ? Look it up. Look it up. You will learn what these products are. That there is the old CPQ and the newer revenue cloud. Read a blog post, read a Medium article, ask a question, and then you will have an entrance point. The next time the topic comes up, you are not blind anymore. And if you do that with 5 or 10 products, if you learn, oh, what is MuleSoft? Oh, what is Informatica? Why is Salesforce acquiring it? So if you take that bit of curiosity, then eventually you will be able to have a bit of an overview. And then if you are asked, on this project, we need Sales Cloud and Service Cloud and CPQ, you can say, yeah, CPQ is super interesting. I looked it up the other day and I would like to learn it, and so on. Then you can already position yourself towards it. It's very difficult to be positioned to something you don't know at all. So understand the product range, then understand roles. So that is my topic. That is my favorite topic, actually. And understand how projects work. Understand how software is delivered, how Salesforce projects and programs are delivered. Because every decision maker, every recruiter will have that mindset. They will say that is that level of maturity, that is that role, that is an architect, and that is that flavor of architect, that is that developer and that flavor of developer, that is a BA. And if you don't know what a BA does, if you don't know what a developer does, if you don't have no idea how they think, in what communities they like to be, what they find good and bad, and so on, well, you'll be pretty blind to a large part of the ecosystem. And at one point, that becomes quite unaffordable. So even if it doesn't directly appeal to you the way a developer thinks, you think, oh, that's a techie in his corner, he loves this and that, and oh, architect is too abstract, and so on. Even if you don't love it outright, look into it. Let your natural curiosity, same as with the products, bring you to a small understanding of each role. And then if it comes up again and the recruiter speaks to you, you can say, no, I'm not that kind of role. I can position myself here, and I know this and that. You have to be able to position yourself. And as you grow that muscle of positioning yourself, you will be so much more attractive as any collaborator. Because that means you can communicate, you can learn, you can iterate quickly over a topic. That's another of my favorite topics. So long story short, understand products, understand roles, understand how projects work. And I'm never done with this, so how methodologies work. So it's a never-ending story. But learn to speak the lingo of the Salesforce ecosystem.
Yeah.
I was going to say, one of the things I do is I won't lie. I'll go write this like Salesforce would write this, and then you'll get Salesforce language. But you can also do that involving roles. You can ask me, what are the top skill sets? But I also want to talk about when Renee talks about architect. Salesforce has like 5 or 6 architect programs within the architect program. So you're talking solution, technical, data, enterprise, transformation, and then you also have business, right? And so when we hear Jennifer and you hear Renee talk about these things, you're learning certain things, but also go ahead and look at what those paths are. Understand what skill set overlaps, because again, there are paths there, but the diversity of your skill set is what defines an architect. It's what defines your success moving forward. But if those paths are listed somewhere, grab them, understand it, see where you might have passions, and then define your path based on, again, knowing your strengths, so that, because I'll tell you something very important, Denny, and I'll make it really brief before you go. You will spend more time on if you spend more time on what you're good at than what you're bad at, you'll actually have more success. Understand your weaknesses, but invest in where you're strongest, because where you can actually improve above someone else, you will never be the best at what you're weak at unless you're willing to spend how many hours, and that might get you a point of success, and that might give you a point of pride, but is it helping you get to that next stage of that path for your career? Is it getting you to where you want to be, where you have a job? And that's what Renee, I thought, was really highlighting about understanding those paths. Ask the right questions, learn the language. But you can do all those things now, and that's where the community comes from, where Jennifer's talking about, where that's where she's engaging and having those conversations and putting that space together for people to do that. So, and that's what Ziti Group is doing right now.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks again.
I think
Really
invest more in the area of your strength. And thank you, Renee. So Renee talked about understanding product, understanding roles, and then understanding project. So we're almost out of time, but I have one more question for you, Demi. It's an area that Jennifer and Sheldon have touched on a little bit, mentorship and career growth. All right, but I still want to hear from your own perspective. What role does mentorship and coaching play in helping professionals navigate their career paths effectively?
Yeah, so I think we've heard from a lot of the guys on the call that mentorship is vitally important to navigating a career. And I think through all the coaching I have conducted, especially in the past year, one thing which has stood out to me, but has also initially surprised me, was many of us don't actually know what we want. So we're aware of the notion that in the corporate world, it is expected that we climb this hypothetical ladder. But when we do that, sometimes we lose ourselves and we lose what is actually important to us and what we enjoy. We chase titles, and the reality is when we then get those titles, we still feel a void. And so in recent years, I've kind of shifted more and thought we need to seek a sense of purpose, and we need to be proud of who we are as people and just not focus so much on what other people think and, you know, maybe the achievement or that sense of feeling that comes from a title, but more focus on something that helps you get out of bed, something that makes you feel as though you're doing something good and you're driving society forwards. And I think that's where mentorship comes into it. So if you work with the right mentor, one with whom you have the same shared values, now that's really, really important. You have to pick a mentor whose values are similar to your own. You will engage more in mindful career planning because they will ask you questions which maybe you've not even thought of. They'll help you to see the bigger picture. You'll be exposed to the art of the possible. Some things that you may speak about, you may never have considered. And you'll have somebody who you can bounce your ideas off of. It's important as well to say mentorship, it doesn't have to be a formal construct. It can be a relationship between two people where one aspires to be in a similar position to the other, or it could be mutually beneficial, such that one person may have skill set A and you may have skill set B, but you mutually benefit because you both want to have the skill set the other person has. So it can be whatever you want it to be. And the final point I'll say is our careers are never going to be linear, because sometimes we need to go down to go back up. Sometimes we might just want to change and do something completely different. And the mentor can help you navigate this, and they can be the person you lean on when maybe you're unsure of yourself, or maybe when you just need some kind words. So I'd say a mentor is vitally important. There are probably many people on this call who haven't had a mentor, but I think it is safe to say having one does make things a whole lot easier, and it gives you that reassurance.
Yeah, thank you so much, Demi. Thank you to all our amazing speakers. So this is the end of the speaker session. We're going to move to the Q&A session. But before we do that, if you're just joining us, this webinar is organized by the Ziti group, right? And in Ziti group, one of the core things that we believe in is that talent is everywhere, but opportunity is not. And our mission is to ensure that we bridge that gap. All right, and we do that through, we have a remote outsourcing arm that creates, that connects African talent with global opportunities. Then we also have a Salesforce, an academy, both an AI academy and a Salesforce academy, where we train African talent. And for the Salesforce academy, we will be having a training starting this January. So if you're interested, there will be a link in the group. And Demi just finished talking about, in the chat box survey, there will be a link. You can register and we'll have amazing discount for you if you're on this call. All right. And Demi mentioned about mentorship, and we will have mentorship with mentors, right, for our training. And of course, Demi is going to be one of the mentors. All right. And okay, we're going to go to the Q&A session. Okay, and if you have a question, you can raise your hand. But before that, I think there are some people that have already dropped their questions in the chat box.
Yes.
So I'll start with that first. Okay, and if you have a question, you can still type, okay, in the chat box, and then we're going to read it. But let me start with the first one that Karabo Mohammed. Sorry, I hope I got the name right. Okay, that was asked at the question was asked at the beginning of the session, and the person said, "Is getting a Salesforce role dependent on certifications and projects to showcase your strengths and understanding of the platform, or does having a formal education in tech the only thing that is necessary?" I've found that a lot of job posts in my country, South Africa, emphasizes having a formal degree and learning Salesforce later. Okay, Shegun, I think I will allow you to answer this question.
Yeah.